Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Week 6 preview is here, and joining me this week, I teased it on the Wednesday show. Cam is here. Cam is feeling healthy, and again, he's pointing to his San Francisco 49ers hat right now. Only undefeated team in the league right now. How are we feeling? I mean, it's just been dominating team after dominating team. So
it's been good. It's been great. Still got the Eagles at undefeated as well, but that's okay. We'll get them back at I think week 13 or something like that.
Oh yeah, the Eagles are right. I thought they lost the game for some reason. Either way, Eagles have not been or have not looked as good as the Niners have looked. But
nope.
Niners in a real class of their own, and we will get to. Oh yeah, they're playing the Browns this week. That line has holy fuck has that shifted. And we will get to that game. But let's start off with the blind Thursday night football recap. The Denver Broncos are officially on the clock with the number 1 overall pick. Was an absolute shit kicking from the Chiefs. I mean, we have known that the Broncos do not have a good defense, not a very good team. The offense is league average at best, if not a little bit worse than that. The defense is one of the worst in football. Chiefs were able to do whatever they wanted all over the field, and that Chiefs defense was able to keep Russ and the weapons at bay. I'll put that in air quotes, but was a game that we could all go to bed at halftime for. Was an easy Chiefs win. I don't know what else there is to say.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs don't lose when Taylor Swift is there, so that's all that matters.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, I like what you said. We're going to be going to bed at halftime, and everybody will be nice and rested for work on Friday.
Yeah, God. And I guess just one more Broncos overarching point. It looks like they're going to have a fire sale at some point. Randy Gregory already traded to the Niners. Frank Clark, it looks like he's going to get moved or cut. Jerry Jeudy looks like a prime trade candidate right now. So this is kind of what I said on the Wednesday show. They are ripping everything down from the studs and building it back up. Unfortunately, Russell Wilson will still be a part of that team for the foreseeable future anyways. But Chiefs roll, easy Chiefs win. The line right now is Chiefs 10.5. Do they cover that tonight, Cam?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as long as they keep their foot on the gas pedal, the Broncos aren't stopping them.
Yeah.
So I just hope that Russ can actually keep this game somewhat interesting. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be close.
Me, I'm betting Blaine Gabbert anytime touchdown.
Ooh, I like it.
All right, let's get into this week 6 preview here, starting off with another London game. Ravens at the Titans. The Ravens, let me see. Ravens -4, total set at 41.5. The Ravens, unlike the Bills, showed up to London at a normal time in the week. I think they got there yesterday. Smart, very smart. But both teams are going to be dealing with the jet lag and whatever. The Ravens, I don't know. Their wide receiver group they played terrible last week. That's the whole reason why they lost that game. I'm expecting a bounce back performance from them. This Titans team is solid, but it's just
there's nothing inspiring.
Not great
team.
I'm expecting a big bounce back from the Ravens this week. No, not at all. And I mean, I'll let you go to whatever points that you want to make, but.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for Lamar to really make a statement with this game. You know, things have been a little bit shaky, and I know that his receivers have not been helping him, but at the end of the day, they got to get this done against a weaker team and get themselves back on track. You know, the AFC is so good. You got to keep, win your winnable games. Otherwise, you're never going to have a chance, especially after you lose the game with the Steelers. You got to keep pace. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm looking for Lamar to show that he's an MVP type guy today or this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we both expect a Ravens win and a Ravens bounce back performance after the terrible showing last week. I don't think there's any other notes. I think that the Ravens are starting to slowly get healthy again, but I think let's just keep moving on. First game up in the 1 o'clock slate, Commanders at Falcons. Falcons -2.5, total set at 42.5. Desmond Ritter, undefeated at home.
There you
Does
go.
it undefeated at home for his career?
Yeah, I heard
Do
that on
we?
your episode this week. I didn't even know that that was a college thing as well. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now yeah. I mean, just unbelievable in general that he's kept that streak going, even in the NFL. I don't think he's played that many home games over. I think he's only at like 4 or 5 so far. But either way, undefeated at home in the NFL. This is the game where the Falcons, they have the better team on paper. It's just whether or not the game script goes their way and they can run the ball early and make sure Desmond Ritter doesn't throw the ball. Even though Desmond Ritter, he looked pretty good throwing the ball last week. Commanders kind of got shellacked by the Bears. Maybe a bounce back spot for them. I saw, what was it? It was the Commanders are like the streak breakers, where they broke the Ravens' preseason win streak this year. And who did they play? The Bears. Oh, yeah. The Bears were 14 straight losses, and then the Commanders lost and then beat that
Yeah.
streak. So if we're buying into Commanders breaking streaks, could happen. But this is a game where I have no real lean. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's really a coin flip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think both teams have more talent than what they've shown this season. You know, that wide receiver group in Washington is a lot better than what they've been getting out of them. And
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I think that team is just at the point where they need a fresh start from the top down with coaching and quarterback play and everything. And hopefully that comes this off season, and, you know, losing games like this will go a long way towards them getting a nice quarterback prospect to build around in the future.
Yeah.
But and then for the Falcons, they're a fun team. I'd like to see them keep going with it. And I like Ritter, but I obviously know his limitations. And I don't know. I'd probably pick the Falcons, but again, like you said, it's not super strong opinion one way or the other.
No, and I mean, do we think that the Commanders are going to be in a position to move on from Sam Howell next year? Because I don't think so. I think that the roster's too good, and Sam Howell is decent enough to keep them out of the Caleb Williams conversation for sure, and in that Drake May.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to finish dead last by any means, but they're kind of an interesting spot where they've got a new ownership group that just came in who might want to be aggressive and take that big stamp on their franchise. So, you know, who knows if they finish in that like 7 to 10 range, they could be a really big candidate for a trade up. And maybe even cleaning house up top, and someone like a Ben Johnson could head on down there with a fresh new quarterback and with a great
no, because Eric Bieniemy is the future head coach of that team.
Well, we'll see.
Well, I think he literally is. Ron Rivera is definitely gone.
If he is, that's great, and I think he's a great offensive mind. But either way, they're not going anywhere with the regime in power right
now. No. Again, I think NFC wildcard kind of wide open. Commanders could do it. This is a big game for both teams, playoff considerations. I mean, the NFC South is just dog shit. So even if the Falcons lose this one, they could still probably win that division. But last note up for the Falcons, which could be the big game changer in this. They traded for Van Jefferson. So I don't know. That's just another weapon for Desmond Ritter to not use out there. And I say weapon, and Van Jefferson's.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, he's still wide receiver 3 on this team because they got no one. But
yeah, no, he'll play a big role, and I think too, coming from a McVay system where he's been relied upon as a run blocker as well, will really suit the offense with the way Arthur Smith likes to run it. So I think he's a good pickup, but I'm not expecting anything flashy.
No. Next game up, we got your team, Niners at Browns. Niners -9, total set at 37.5. This line opened at -4, did it not?
So I saw -7 this afternoon. I didn't realize it was up to 9.
That's
That's
the like yeah, like I think with the Watson news, and it looks like he's trending to not playing.
yeah,
Which I mean,
that's
we saw how well that Browns offense looked when they put on Dorian Thompson Robinson. He looked awful. I think PJ Walker's in line to get the start this week, but uh the not like I don't even know what to say. But like, there's no weak point on the Niners right now.
no,
It's just they
it's
roll
fun.
everybody. Their defense is great. It's just yeah, it's. I'm sure you're having a blast, but I'll let you go
I'm
here.
looking forward to this game just to see how they do against another really good defense. Especially early in the game. That Cowboys game was kind of a letdown in terms of like that test, and I think this Browns
Yes,
defense
yeah.
is really good. So I'm excited to see if they can keep it going. And at the end of the day, I think this team is good enough that there's nobody in the league on paper that can stand toe to toe with them. So it's really just a matter of do they beat themselves or can they maintain that consistency week in and week out?
Mm-hmm.
And, especially with the young quarterback that everyone's waiting for them to fall off. I'm really excited for another good test this weekend. But
yeah,
the,
and
the Browns are going to score 7 points max.
yeah, I don't see a way like any way that they move the ball up the field. I mean, it used to be just give it to Nick Chubb and he can get you 5 yards, and now he's gone. No Watson. And let's just talk about fucking Deshaun Watson. I don't know what happened, but he was like this close to playing in that week 4 matchup. And then they're like, no, okay, he won't play. We'll have the bye. He'll be good to go for week 6. And now all of a sudden he's not good for week 6 anymore.
I think I saw online that he's got a bruised rotator cuff. So I don't know. That seems to me like something's going on there. Like it doesn't, and something's not adding up with the fact that like you should be going at this point, and like the coach is telling the media that he could have went, and now 2 weeks later he's still not going.
Yeah.
Something's not adding up there, and I'm sure we'll get an answer soon enough. But
Deshaun Watson realizes that he is not a good quarterback anymore and just wants to sit on the sideline collecting that money. Last Browns note, though,
he's
tight
scared
end
of Nick
David.
Bosa.
Everyone should be scared of Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last Browns note, though, tight end David Njoku. In that same game that Watson missed in week 4, it was David Njoku was questionable. And if you haven't seen the picture of the burn marks that have left on his face, because I was picturing like, oh, he burnt himself a little bit. Like, no, like, that man could have like died. It looked that bad.
He
Absolutely
looks like a
unbelievable.
superhero villain.
Yeah, he does. I mean, fuck, when he walked into the stadium, he looked like a superhero. Like
Yeah.
you saw, yeah. But either way, shout out to David Njoku for playing through that type of injury. I can't imagine how painful that would have been wearing a helmet and just getting tackled in general.
Yeah, no kidding.
And fuck you to Deshaun Watson. You're a pussy. We can go to the next game. Saints at Texans. Saints -1.5. Total set at 41.5. This seems like a Texans at home. Texans have been pretty good. The Saints are just, I mean, they're the Saints. This is I don't know. They're a fine NFL team. We like the Texans. We like the Texans because they're trending up. Again, this is a game where I don't really have many leans on because I do like the Saints defense, but CJ Stroud has just been dicing all season. No interceptions. Has the record for most attempts without an interception. I think, I don't know.
I think
it's
the
tough.
Saints are almost like the definition of a perfectly average football team.
Yeah.
Where it's like they don't really do anything exceptionally well, but they're also not really bad at anything. They're kind of just fine, like you said, at everything.
Yeah.
So week in, week out, they're going to do what they're going to do. It'll be a nice opportunity for, a young coach quarterback combo to take that step against a team that they're chasing at this point. Because as much fun as the Texans have been, they're still not jumping up that power rankings anytime soon. They've still got to beat teams like the Saints to prove that they're better than teams like the Saints.
Yeah. I
So
think I'm looking through my power rankings quickly right here. I had the Texans at 16 and the Saints at 22. But I think that my 14 to like 22 team is all the same in my opinion. There's no
for sure. And I mean, a lot
no
of times too, people are going to bump teams up the power rankings that they enjoy watching rather than,
yeah.
a team like what the Saints are this year, or even like, for example, what the Patriots have been the last couple of years.
Yes.
Obviously this year's different with them, but like
Way
they're just
different.
average, good football teams, but they're nothing fun and nothing exciting. So
No.
we tend to
No.
overlook them.
Yeah. Um yeah, like I this is a good test for CJ Stroud. Who did the Texans play last week? Because they played the Falcons last week.
Yes.
And I like the Falcons defense. I think the Saints defense is more of a unit. They've played more together.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably going to be the best defense CJ Stroud has played this season. They played the Steelers, so never mind. But
Yeah, they kicked the shit out of the Steelers.
they did kick the shit out of the Steelers. So I don't know. This is a game where Derek Carr could literally just throw the game away and the Texans win.
Mm-hmm.
If they play mistake-free football, then the Texans are going to have to play very good on offense. But we don't have to talk much more about this game.
No,
Let's
I was
keep
just going
going.
to say I'm going to cheer for my guy D'Amico Ryans, but I'm not putting my money anywhere in this game.
No. We are moving on. Next game up. Panthers at Dolphins. Total set at 47.5. Dolphins minus 13.5. We're going to kill them.
Yeah.
The Panthers are just flat out. Actually, I don't think the Panthers are one of these like truly bad teams. Yeah, they're the last winless team in the league, but actually, no, I can't even talk myself into that they're like okay. Their defense is it's like their defense is hurt. Like it's Brian Burns and Derek Brown on that defensive line, and then nothing really else around it. Their secondary is buns right now, and Tyreek and Waddle and maybe Chase Claypool. I don't know. I think the Dolphins are going to have a field day like they do with every other team that they've played, except technically the Bills, even though we still had like 400 yards of offense in that game. But that's beside the point.
No,
Yeah.
it's another one of those games where odds are it'll be a good team is able to go out there and practice against a live opponent. It's that's the fun way of saying it. But I just think that, like you said, the Panthers don't really stack up at any unit. Bryce Young has struggled. I think it's a good opportunity for Miami to hopefully get their defense on track and build some confidence with a nice low scoring game.
Let me just try to fill time as I look up the Dolphins injury report quickly. But yeah, I'm excited to watch this game because I haven't watched many Bryce Young full games, obviously. Let's just see what he looks like. Because, I mean, people are ripping him apart 5 games into his career very unfairly because he's not in a great offensive situation. It's him and Adam Thielen, which not good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was looking up Jalen Phillips. Right. Yeah. Because like you said, I hope that this is the Dolphins defense looked very good against the Giants last week. The Giants stink, so they should. This is another test where, okay, we got guys on this defense. Let's show up. Let's show out. Let's just, these are the games that it should be no questions, easy win. I saw Tyreek on Twitter was already kind of overlooking this game and tweeting at Darius Slay that he can't wait till next weekend, which is very, very funny.
I don't know. It's like one of those things where to become that truly top tier team, you just have to be good week in and week out. And that's just something that the Dolphins have another opportunity to show that they belong in that super contender level.
Exactly. I don't see anything about Jalen Phillips on an injury report. Oh, there it is. 1 day ago, Jalen Phillips was limited. On Wednesday, so hopefully he's going to play. I want to see him play because I thought he was going to have this huge breakout year. Hopefully he gets in this game and
has he played yet
sacks.
this year?
He played in the Chargers game and he left in the Patriots game, and then he hasn't played since. So shitty, but
Fingers
let's keep
crossed he's
going
back.
on. This should be the best 1 o'clock game. Also, as we're talking, the Niners line has now shifted to -9 to -8.5. But yeah, this I think will be the best 1 o'clock game of the weekend. Seahawks at Bengals, total set of 44.5. Bengals -2.5. Do we believe that the Bengals are fully back on offense? It looks like T. Higgins is going to play too. Do we think that this offense is fully back, or did they play the Cardinals last week and Jamar Chase just took advantage of no one playing corner against him?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're going to find out this week. Obviously, I like to hope so because the NFL is just better when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are balling out together.
Agreed.
And at the same time, I hope it's true because I want them to crush the Seahawks and give the Niners even more cushion in that NFC West.
God.
Not that they're really going to need it, but it's always nice to see your division rivals lose.
Yeah. Is Jamal Adams gonna play in this game? Because I know
I don't even know if
he
he played last week, did he?
he
No, they were on
did, and
bye. They were
oh
on
yeah,
bye
right,
last week.
right, right. He played 2 weeks ago against the Giants, and then played 5 snaps, got a concussion, got pissed at the NFL evaluator guy, and yeah, so he should be good. Um, yeah, this is just a good matchup on both sides. I'm a fan of this Seahawks defense, and I think the Seahawks defense has been trending in the right direction. Obviously, they played the Giants, whose offense is abysmal, and offensive line is hurt tremendously, and also one of the worst offensive lines in football. But I'm excited to see what Tariq Woolen and Devon Witherspoon can do against Chase and Higgins. I think that'll be a fun matchup. In even the Bengals defense, I really like the Bengals defense a lot. That unit has been trying to carry the Bengals through the first 4 weeks of the season, and then finally the offense showed up. But I don't know. These are two teams that I expect to be in the playoffs by the end of the year. Should be a good game. I don't know if I have any strong leans in this. I guess we'll find out in the pick'em. I also have no idea what my picks are going to be. The work day
Nice.
was so hectic today where I didn't even have time to go through my picks and figure it out. But this is usually what I do. I just talk about the matchups and then I figure it out, and I'm 500 on the season, so hasn't been that bad.
There you go.
There we go. Next 1 o'clock game, Colts at Jags. Seems kind of early for both of their divisional matchups to just be done 6 weeks into the season. Jags -4, total set at 44.5. Colts and QB news, Anthony Richardson. It looks like he's going to be out 4 to 8 weeks was the timeline that I saw for him, which absolutely sucks. Gardner Minshew will be in this game. When the Jags played the Colts first time around, it was a closer game than people expected in week 1, but the Jags pulled away late. I think that they covered.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
scored a really late touchdown to get the cover.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of faith in the Colts and Gardner Minshew. I like Gardner Minshew a lot, but you know that he's a one-dimensional quarterback, and you don't really have to worry about him
For
in
sure.
general and him passing. As long as the Jags stop this run game, and really, I mean, stop Zach Moss. Zach Moss has been on an absolute tear. You don't have to worry about Jonathan Taylor right now, but Colts might have a two-headed monster. But I think if Jags stop their run game, Jags should win this game. I don't know why they would lose this game.
I agree. We were talking about this earlier, though, in the group chat, and it is kind of interesting that they don't have the bye week after spending, the last 2 weeks in London. So it's going to be like, and it's not even like it was just a quick trip and it's like, go back to normal. It's like you were there for 2 weeks. Like those guys got used to that time zone, and now they're coming back.
Yeah.
And I know going back is a little easier, but I don't know. It's still interesting to me. And, division rival games are always close. We'll see what happens. I do think it'll be a very close game. I like to see Trevor Lawrence kind of show that he's the guy that we saw at the end of last year again and really take this game over. because he's
Mm-hmm.
the best player in this game, and he needs to prove it because he hasn't shown
Yeah.
that much this season.
We've seen flashes so far,
Mm-hmm.
but at this point, he's in what, year 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to start seeing the consistency. And I mean, those 2 fumbles in the Bills game last week absolutely tanked whatever credible stat line he could have come out with.
For sure.
Yeah. We'll keep going. Last 1 o'clock game. Vikings -3 against the Bears. Bears are at home. Total set at 43.5.
That's a really interesting game to me.
This is I was just about to say, I don't know why the Vikings are favorites.
Especially on the
Especially
road.
and especially with Justin Jefferson not playing.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But, you know, I think it's
But
definitely going to be a game where we're going to see some points being scored, though. Because neither team has a very good defense, and both
no,
teams
they
have
do
pretty
not.
fun offenses.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And I'm excited to see what Jordan Addison does in the wide receiver 1 role.
Mm-hmm. And that'll be a big I mean, this is really it for him. I mean, without Justin Jefferson, he should be the clear number 1. I think KJ Osborne is going to be the number 1 because he's been their number 2 for the entire season so far.
It'll be a 1A, 1B, I think.
Exactly. And I think Addison has every chance to win that number 1 receiver job with Jefferson out, and eventually win that number 2 job once Jefferson comes back, if he comes back. Because there's some rumors where he might just shut himself down for the rest of the season because what's the fucking point?
But yeah, I mean, if the Vikings keep tanking, I totally wouldn't blame them. And this is also a good opportunity for Addison. You know, if the Vikings do go into fire sale mode and, you know, trade away Kirk and trade away some of their key, like, pillars of their team, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't get maximum value for Justin Jefferson to kickstart your rebuild. And this is an opportunity for Jordan Addison to show that he can be that guy and, you know, build confidence in that organization around him.
That would be insane, but at the same time, if they have a chance at Caleb Williams or Drake May, and their receiving core is Jefferson, Addison, and Hawkinson, the Suns, the 3 Suns,
obviously,
that would be
if you can get a quarterback like that, you don't need the kickstart to your to your rebuild. But if they don't get one of those top 2 guys, then I think all options need to be on the table.
Fair. Let's talk about the Bears quickly, because I mean, Justin Jefferson in the last 2, or Justin Fields in the last 2 weeks has 8 passing touchdowns. The Bears offense looks completely rejuvenated right now. Looks like how it did. Actually, it doesn't even look like how it did at the end of last year, because now it is Justin Fields passing the ball. I mean, mainly all to DJ Moore, but regardless, DJ Moore is making those catches. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's keep this Bears offense going. I like Justin Fields. I still think that he can be a franchise guy. Whether it'll be for the Bears, I don't know at this point, but I think Justin Fields will be a starter next year. Don't know what team that's going to be on. Maybe the Falcons.
We'll see.
But yeah, I'm
still not sold on Fields. I mean, even with the crazy stat line he had last week, it was like he was only 52% completion on the day, and 83% of his passing yards came to DJ Moore. And I'm pretty sure it was like over 50% of DJ Moore's yards were yards after catch. So I think it's a little bit of an artificial stat line for Fields last week. I'd like to see him, you know, get more consistent with his passing before I really think that he deserves that next contract. But there's no denying he's a dynamic athlete, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, that is a fact. Last note for the Bears, I just looked it up. Roschon Johnson, it looks like he's trending towards not playing. So let's see if Deonta Foreman can regain some of what he had kind of for the last season and a bit. I think it's going to be him and Darrington Evans in that backfield, and that might be a big reason why this Bears offense might take a little bit of a dip. If all the Vikings need to do is focus on DJ Moore, things could stall out. I don't really see that happening, but
just another opportunity for Justin Fields to show that he's a guy.
Exactly. That's a very good point. We will move on to the 4 o'clock games. This game sucks. Patriots at Raiders. Raiders -3. Total set at 41.5.
You
The
already
Patriots
know
are the worst team.
this.
Yeah, like the Patriots are the worst team in football, right? Like with the
They're in
injuries
the
that they've sustained
conversation.
on defense. Yeah, with in the injuries on defense now, they got nothing on offense.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have the worst offense in football. Raiders -3. Like the Raiders should roll. I don't think the Raiders are a very good team, but what I've seen from the Patriots the last 2 weeks, where they've been outscored,
Mm-hmm.
quick math, 69 points. Good for them, actually. um,
No,
yeah,
you're
I don't
right.
know. Like,
I don't know. I think they're at a very interesting crossroads, obviously, with regard to Mac and Belichick and everything going on there. Uh, I don't know. But at the same time, I always get leery of these teams where it's just like everyone's dumping on you. You're down and you're locked, blah blah blah. Bill Belichick is still a great coach, and if he could get
yes.
everybody fired up for this game, it's not like the Raiders are some juggernaut. They can win, and especially
No.
against one of his former assistant coaches and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and his
Mm-hmm.
former the guy he wanted in Garoppolo, blah blah blah. I think that the Pats, if it doesn't happen this week with all those extra motivational factors, then there needs to be a serious conversation. But until I see that happen, I still think this could be a close game. A boring,
Yeah.
no fun game, but close.
Yeah. I feel like the only way that the Patriots can win this game is if their defense plays very, very well. And I mean, that's been the Pats formula since Brady left. The defense has to play very, very well for them to win. Uh we'll see. They're going against Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't give the Pats much of a chance, but I don't count Bill Belichick out of any matchup that he is in.
No,
That's for damn sure.
but it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I like my guy Garoppolo, so go Raiders.
Moving on to the 425 games here. Lions at Buccaneers. Lions -3.5. Total set at 42.5. Everything in my body is telling me to hammer the Lions -3.5. They're the third best team in the NFC right now. I like what the Buccaneers are doing, but it's Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. I don't think the coaching staff is that great either. But there's something about this Buccaneers team that is just working. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is. The defense is playing well. Baker kind of has some of his moxie, like fuck you attitude again. This is a game I'm excited for. I think if the Bucks play this, I mean, if the Bucks win, the Bucks are easily the best team in the NFC South by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
If even if they play a close game, though, the Bucks are moving up in my power rankings regardless.
Yeah, for sure. I like this Lions team a lot, but the Bucks are fun. Like you said, Baker's got his swagger back to a certain degree, and I'd love to see him keep it going because, again, Baker Mayfield is fun to watch, and everybody wins when
Mm-hmm.
he's having fun
Yeah.
out there. So, and I mean, this Bucks team is kind of interesting because it's like everybody last year was saying it's just like how good the roster was, and with Brady, blah blah blah, they're Super Bowl contenders, and obviously that didn't happen. But it's like the roster hasn't changed that much. It's still got two good receivers. It's got a decent O line. It's got, you know, Baker's having fun out there. The defensive line is good. They've got some playmakers. It's not a bad team. They just needed the consistency, and I think there was a toxic element to the team last year with between Brady
Mm-hmm.
and Bruce Arians and all that. But no, I think this Bucks team is a lot of fun, and I'm going to be cheering for them. That's for sure. But at the same time, this Lions team is really good.
Yeah, and I mean the Lions team that didn't have Amon Ra or Gibbs last week. I'm looking at the injury report right now for both teams. Amon Ra is tracking to play. He's been a full participant. He was a full participant in practice. Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't practiced this week. Sam Laporta also just got added to the injury report. I think that he'll be fine. That's probably just like he got banged up in practice. Just put him on the injury report because you have to. But You want to talk about the Lions head coach Dan Campbell and the comments that he has made about Gibbs in Montgomery and about how Gibbs is a change of pace back and you can't give someone like that 20 to 25 carries in a season. That's why we have David Montgomery. Maybe don't pick the guy at 12th overall if you don't think that he's going to be a workhorse guy for you. And maybe that's changed after they've seen him in training camp and practice and realize, oh, he can't be that do-it-all guy that we thought he was going to be. But
it's interesting.
Crazy comments for that to be your...
And it's interesting because like all through camp, all we heard was that Gibbs was going to be the Alvin Kamara to this offense. And now the season started and it's like, he's not, like you said, he's been the change of pace back. And there are, I think, certain nuances to the running back game that Gibbs is learning. Like I saw, I forget who it was, somebody broke it down on TV. They're talking about like the little things that Montgomery does well, pass blocking and just running in a way that you can fall forward and get those extra yards, whereas Gibbs has just been all about power and dynamic elements and all that. These are things that Gibbs is going to learn and he's going to get really good at. He's got all the potential in the world. But yeah, like you said, to use that pick on a guy that at this point is a change of pace back doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. And I mean, if you were to change like the Lions pick where it was Brian Branch and Sam Laporta in the first round and then put Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs in the second, everyone would be loving their draft class. And I mean, they still have a very good draft class. Gibbs, I mean, I'm assuming that he'll get it going at some point, but that has to get there.
Yeah, it'll get there. I think the Lions are also kind of in a spot where for the first time, like I can remember, they're winning. This isn't about developing their players anymore. This is about going out there and executing. And at the end of the day, if Campbell doesn't feel like Gibbs is the best back, he doesn't play. That's the reality of the NFL.
Because ideally they want to do what the Saints did with Kamara and Mark Ingram and have that big 1-2 punch. Maybe we'll see that next year. But right now, have not seen it. Let's keep going, though. Cardinals at Rams, NFC West divisional battle. Rams -7, total set at 48.5.
Can they both?
I'm just kind of... Yeah. So we're betting on a tie then.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of done with the Cardinals being like, oh, they're a tough team. They're playing well. They are, but they're just flat out not a good NFL roster. And if they had a good NFL roster, they would be in these games and competing. But the roster is so bad, they will not compete. Rams -7, though. It's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points. And aren't the Cardinals home? Or is the Rams?
Nope, the Rams are at home. Rams are at home.
That makes a little bit more sense. But still, it's a big number. But this Rams team has been fun. Stafford looks like he's back to being Matthew Stafford. You got Cooper Kupp back, and he looked great last week to complement Puka. Kyron Williams looks like another diamond in the rough.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you don't need to be a superstar to have success in a McVay, Shanahan, McDaniel offense.
No, you do not.
He's giving them enough right now.
Yeah. Like this should be a game where the Rams offense just fires on all cylinders and torches this Cardinals defense that has been playing relatively well given their circumstances. But
I think with the Cardinals too, it's a little bit of, new coach, quarterback we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Now everybody's starting to get tape and they're getting figured out and they don't have the talent to adapt. So
no.
It's been fun, but I just hope Caleb Williams doesn't land on my division next year.
God, you should hope so. I mean, honestly, I just think the Cardinals are going to stick with Kyler Murray. I think that's kind of where they're going to be, where they're going to end up. I think Kyler's probably going to come back at some point this year.
I hope so.
But just so they play themselves out of Caleb Williams.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not a big Kyler fan to begin with, so if they want to stick with him for the future, by all means.
Yeah. I don't think there's really much to talk about. I think we just both think that the Rams are the better team, the better roster. They should win this game. Let's keep going. Last 4:30 or 4:25 game, Eagles at Jets. Eagles -7. Jets, or total set at 40.5. Jets are at home. Um, this should be a much higher line. I know that the Jets have been playing relatively good ball the last 2 weeks. The defense is still one of the better defenses in football, but they're not going to be able to contain this Eagles offense through 4 quarters.
Hmm.
Uh, and you know who's going to be on his ass for the entire game? Zach Wilson, because this Eagles front seven is going to be after him all game. They are going to shut down the run game in Brees Hall. And I don't see Zach Wilson having another
No.
miraculous game. I mean, and I say miraculous, even his game against the Chiefs, where everyone was praising him, he was
Yeah.
fine. He was pretty good. But
Yeah.
for Zach Wilson, that's the biggest accomplishment in his NFL career.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, he looks okay, and everyone's freaking out like there's progress being made. But no, like you said, the Eagles should roll this game. As long as it's like, I feel like a broken record here, but it's another opportunity for a good team to just have that consistency week in, week out.
Yeah.
Obviously cheering for the Jets because I want to be the only undefeated team left. But no, at the end of the day, Eagles winning by anything less than 10 would be disappointing.
No, I'm completely I'm right there with you. And also probably the Jets' best offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker, is now out for the season. So that is another huge loss for them on that offensive line. Yeah, this Eagles front seven is just going to be feasting all afternoon.
I'm still kind of holding out hope that the Vikings go with fire sale mode and Kirk Cousins ends up in New York. I think that team is a lot of fun. They just don't have the quarterback play. And landing someone like Kirk Cousins just for the season, don't give up. I'm not saying give up 2 firsts for him or anything, but
no.
And I know Kirk also has the no trade clause, so that complicates things. But I just think it'd be a great opportunity for him to get back into the playoffs with a good team and really prove that he can have a good playoff run and earn that next contract. I mean, he ends up on New York and wins a game or two in the playoffs. God, I mean, he could get a massive contract, probably add another $10 million to his salary.
I keep forgetting that Kirk's going to be a free agent next year, and that'll be someone's going to give him a shit ton of money.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, he kind of deserves it, I guess.
By NFL standards, he's a good quarterback, but he's nothing that's going to take you over
spectacular. No, exactly. Okay, Sunday night football now. Giants at Bills. Total set of 44.5. Bills minus 14.5. Can the Bills hit this total by themselves? I think that they can.
Yeah, they definitely can.
I think, and the Bills are going to be very pissed off with how they played last week. I'm going to look up quickly if Daniel Jones is fine or not.
I was going to say the Giants injury report was fucking longer than their roster last time I saw.
Here, I will pull up their injury report, but like the Bills, and I mean, even with the losses to the Bills defense with Trey White and Matt Milano and Daquan Jones, this Giants offense just flat out sucks. So
there's no real concern. It's a good opportunity actually for the Bills to test out a couple guys for the next man up mentality that they're going to have. The one out, Trey White's obviously a massive loss, and cornerback one's a hard spot to replace. The good part about it is that at least a defensive tackle and a middle linebacker are two of the easier plug and play spots.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
At least in that sense, if they can find some good internal options, great. If not, maybe look at the trade deadline coming up. But no, this is a good opportunity for them to really test their internal depth and guide their plan for the way that they're going to approach the trade deadline.
No. So I got their injury report up here. So in the did not participate, and this is today, Thursday, Daniel Jones didn't participate. Azeez Ojulari, offensive line, Matt Pert, John Michael Schmitz, and Andrew Thomas all did not participate. And then we get to the guys who were limited, and that's rookie corner Deontay Banks, Saquon, DJ Davidson, Cordell Flott, Shane Lemieux, Micah McFadden, Marcus McKeithen, never heard that name before, Evan Neal, Wandale Robinson, Darren Waller. So this is a very, 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 very hurt Giants team. And the Bills are pissed off. I think that the Bills are going to be God, I have no idea if you've seen what my matchups are for the Cover Zero fantasy league right now.
Nope.
But so I got Allen and James Cook playing against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Mostert playing against the Panthers. I have Puka and Cooper Kupp playing against the Cardinals. I have Travis Kelce against Denver. And then I'm still starting Zay Flowers in my flex against Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Every single one of them is a green matchup. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, I need a linebacker in. Oh, did I end up picking? Oh, I did. I need Khalil Herbert to get put on IR because I picked him up and
just put H.
I might just drop my. Is he? Oh, good. He is there. There we go. HA and IR. Boom. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, the Bills are going to kill them. I think we can just move on. Monday night.
The Giants are so boring. We just started talking about fantasy football in the middle of the preview.
There's like the Giants are going to be picking top 5 easily next year, and they should be looking for their QB of the future because it's not Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a fine, I guess, quarterback, but he's not a franchise
have no idea
guy.
The way his contract is structured, but even just having him there next year is fine.
Yeah, I think there's an out next year after his contract, which hell, I mean, someone might trade something for Daniel Jones. I mean, if Brock Osweiler got moved for what was it? Someone gave if Brock Osweiler got traded, I think it was Brock and a 3rd round pick to the Texans or the Texans. Either way. Someone will probably try to give up something for Daniel Jones who thinks they're maybe a quarterback away. Daniel Jones, better than Desmond Ridder. I'm going to keep saying that the Falcons need a quarterback until they don't. Let's go to Monday Night Football, though. This should be a very fun matchup, hopefully. Cowboys at Chargers. Cowboys -2.5. Total set at 50.5. That's a very high total. It's a very high total for a Cowboys team. Cowboys defense that should be extremely pissed off with how they played last week. Chargers offense is obviously very good. They're rolling. I think Austin Eckler is also back this week. I do expect the Chargers to win this game, though. I'm out on the Cowboys until I see their offense have a good game. And I'm not even talking about great game, just a good, solid game on offense, because they have not had that unless their defense is gifting them turnovers where they can get short field and score.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, I don't like betting on the Chargers in big primetime opportunities, but
nope.
I don't know. I don't know. At the same time, though, this Dallas team they've got a lot of really good players on that team, and they got embarrassed. So teams like that do tend to like to bounce back. So we'll see what happens. I'm just excited because it'll actually be 2 teams with exciting players going on at primetime game, which, it feels like it's been a while since we've had, especially a Monday nighter with that's quality opponents. No more Green Bay versus the Raiders. Give me
God, that game
huge players.
Yeah. I'm excited for this game. I think this is whoever wins this game is obviously trending up for the rest of the season, and we can be like, they're one of the good teams. Yep. I think it's honestly going to come down to which coach is less of an idiot between Brandon Staley and Mike McCarthy, where that is a coaching matchup for the ages.
It might be another game to bet on a tie.
You're probably not wrong. That does it for the Week 6 preview. let's hop right in. Actually, I should mention two teams on bye this week: Packers and Steelers. I don't think I did that last week. I don't think I mentioned who was on bye, but Packers and Steelers are on bye. Probably should mention that at the start, but I'm doing it now.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll fix it next week if I remember. We'll see.
I'm just sad we don't get to watch TJ Watt. Otherwise, that's irrelevant.
That is very fair. Let's get into the pick'em. If you are new, how we do it is we pick a favorite, a dog, an over, an under, and then a money line dog. How we did it last year is we couldn't pick anything from the same matchup. We can't pick the same picks, but we can pick from the same games. If you like a line somewhere, and then I like the total in that game,
Okay.
we can still do that. But as my guess, Cam, where are we starting off?
Well, I mean, you already know. We're gonna go to fucking Niners -7. I guess, especially if Watson doesn't play, the Browns aren't scoring more than 7-10 points max.
Where are you seeing -7?
Oh, sorry, that was my notes from earlier. Whatever it is, I don't care.
Okay.
Niners
The
by
score
20.
that's very fair. The score has it as -8.5 for the Steelers, and so does FanDuel. So you are getting
Yeah, I'll take it.
Niners. I said Steelers. I don't know why, but Niners -8.5 as
Sure.
your favorite. And again, with uh,
Honestly, I'm gonna bet that anything under 10 points. After 10 points, it just is not worth it. But anything under -9.5 and under, I'm hammering it.
mhm. Okay, I'm going to start off with my money line dog, and I'm going to pick the Chargers at home on Monday Night Football under the bright lights. I think that, again, I really like this Dallas defense, but I think that we have seen that they are not a overall sound unit. I think they're kind of a bunch of individuals, maybe. They're not really cohesive. They got gashed in the run game against the Niners, and with Austin Eckler back, I'm assuming that they're going to do the same. Keenan Allen will get open. Chargers money line. Not a fan of Mike McCarthy, not a fan of Brandon Staley, but I think I might hate Mike McCarthy just slightly more.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with my over. And I'm going to take the over in Cincinnati and Seattle. Over 44.5.
I like. Nice.
Two great
Over.
offenses, two average defenses, and two teams that want to put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they should get around closer to 50.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I mean, both offenses, I mean, we've seen in the past how what they can do and what they can look like with all those skill position guys both teams have. Yeah, I think that's a fairly low total. I think they're just kind of banking on maybe more Burrow rust and then the Bengals
Probably.
defense and the Seahawks defense to do their jobs. But I am a fan of that number. Let's see. I'm going to go with. I don't even know what I'm going to. Oh, I'm going to go with my over, and I'm going to go over 43.5 in Vikings Bears. We talked about it. We think both of these defenses absolutely stink. And the number is low enough where, I don't know, this could easily be a 20-24 game. But
kind of interesting because when I was looking at it earlier, I had 44.5. So that number's actually dropped a line.
Interesting. People worried about Justin Jefferson not playing, maybe. But yeah, I think this is just going to be the tale of two smelly defenses and the offenses just kind of doing whatever they want. So over 43.5.
Never go wrong picking the Vikings in and over.
There we go. I think that's a very fair rule, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you are up.
Let's look here. I think I'm gonna go for my under here. I'm I was actually looking at potentially the under for tonight in KC Denver, 47 and a half. Because I think this could be, 47 and a half is a pretty big number, especially for a primetime game. Those have all been pretty low scoring this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this could be a game where the Chiefs kind of get up by like 10, 15 points and then just take their foot off the gas. I don't think the Broncos are good enough to stop them, but it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I think the only thing that kind of worries me about that potential line is the Dolphins let their foot off the gas kind of midway through the third quarter, and we still scored 70 points. um,
I
this, this,
think it'll be fine.
yeah. So you're taking that though? You're taking
Yeah.
under 47?
Is
Under
that
47 and a
47 now?
half, I should say.
Okay.
No, it's 47 and a half. I was just,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Chiefs, Broncos. Okay, I spelled that. Okay, whatever. I'll fix it later. Okay, I think my issue with the board this week is I like way too many favorites.
Yeah, I agree. I was struggling to find options for the dogs.
Like, I love the Bills. I love the Jets. I love the Lions. Actually, I don't love the Lions, but I like the Lions. I like the Jags. I like the Dolphins. So I'm struggling to find a dog. Do I do it? Do I just be a Bengals hater and a Tony hater? Because that man has been an absolute menace so far this year. Yeah, fuck it. Seahawks. Seahawks plus 2.5. I'll take it.
Yeah, I had that on my list as well.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Seahawks team. I have them making the playoffs. I have their over for 11 wins. I think their defense is trending up. Let's see if Joe Burrow still has that little bit of rust against the corners that he's now facing instead of I don't even know who the Cardinals' number one corner is, but
yeah. Like I said, it's a tough week for dogs, and that game should be more or less a coin flip, I think. So
exactly. Yeah. All right, Seahawks plus 2.5. We need your dog and your money line dog.
All right. I'll go with my dog. I don't love it because I've been shitting on them most of the season, but I think I'm going to take the Bears plus 3 just because that Vikings team is going to be missing Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
And, what's Kirk Cousins going to be without his true number one guy? Who knows? Bears are hot to a certain degree. And like I'm not picking a pick I love here, but it is what it is. Bears plus 3.
Yeah, I think that's, completely fair. The Bears are undefeated in their last week of football. So
let's see if they start a new streak.
Okay, I'm looking for my under, and I am going to go with under. Where was the line that I liked? I'm going to go under 41 and a half Patriots Raiders. The Pats in their last 2 weeks of football have put up 1, 2, 3 points over the last 2 weeks. And the Raiders just flat out aren't a very good team. And I don't think that they're good enough to score 30 in this game by themselves. And we talked about it a little bit, but I think Bill will have the upper hand, at least coaching wise. He's going against the guy who he went against every week in practice for a decade. He knows Jimmy G. He knows Jacoby Myers. I think they'll be able to limit their points on offense, and I just don't think the Patriots will score any. So under 41 and a half Patriots Raiders.
That was the next one up on my list for unders.
Yeah.
I just picked a bigger number to give myself more of a cushion, but I agree that game's going to be boring and low scoring.
Yeah.
All right. Moneyline dog.
Moneyline dog. Cameron is taking the Giants.
Fuck, imagine.
What are the even listed money line? Plus 700 money line. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
That Bill's minus 1,000. That's fucked.
This is more of a play where I don't necessarily believe in the team as much as I just believe in the betting trends and the situation that it is in. I'll take the Colts money line dog.
Mhm.
Division rival
Okay.
games are always
Okay.
close. Jags on no bye week after an international trip. I don't love it, but there's not really too many money line dogs I do love. So I'll go with the team that's in the toughest situation to drop one, especially after, an emotional win last week. Sometimes there's a
Mhm.
letdown afterwards.
Yeah. I think that that's a very just logically
Mm.
smart pick, smart reasoning.
It's a system
But
pick,
yeah, there's not
but
a
I
lot
like
of
the Jags
dogs to
better.
really. That's and I think that's all you really have to say. My favorite, I am gonna go with. Do I take the Eagles or the Bills, Cameron? I'll let you pick.
Hmm. I feel like the fuck, that's tough. Because I think the Eagles are probably more likely to cover. 14's a big number in the NFL. I don't care how many injuries you got. So
Yeah.
just stats wise, you go that way. But fuck, that Giants team is just bad.
Actually, I have made up my mind. I am taking Eagles -7 just for the potential of a Tyrod Taylor revenge game. I am avoiding that matchup now.
I like it.
So Eagles -7. Yeah, they're just a much, much, much better team than the Jets.
Mhm.
They will roll. They will score their points. Zach Wilson is going to be fed his lunch by Jalen Carter and Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith. I can just keep going, but
Yeah,
Eagles -7 will be my favorite.
yeah, that's probably where I would have went if I didn't like my own voice too much.
Yeah. Okay. That'll do it. Let me list off the picks quickly here. For me, favorite Eagles -7. Dog Seahawks +2.5. Over 43.5 Vikings Bears. Under 41.5 Pats Raiders. Chargers money line. Your picks, we got Niners -8.5. Bears +3. Over 44.5 Seattle Cincinnati. Under 47.5 Chiefs Broncos and Colts money line. I will be plugging that into FanDuel soon, hopefully. Because that was one thing that was nice about last year when I was doing this. I went 5-0 twice in the first 7 weeks in the season. Haven't done that yet. It would be nice if the bankroll got something going here. And even though I've
Absolutely.
actually been doing pretty good betting this week, but Cam, thank you so much for joining. Any last thoughts on the season?
No.
No,
I
the
hope
Niners are
everybody
just too
holding
good.
their
Yeah.
it's kind of a situation where my only concern is ourselves. I know that might sound super cocky, but you know, I think there's some teams, yeah, Dolphins might have a better offense, but at the end of the day, the defenses are just, there's no match there. We'll see what happens if it ever comes down to it, but I'm pretty
And that's
confident.
the thing. It's like, oh, we have the better offense, but it's also like you guys haven't been stopped. We've been
No,
stopped. The Bills stopped us, but the Niners
all right.
just keep rolling.
Yeah.
When's your first actual matchup? Let's talk about this quickly. When's the first
Uh,
time you play a real opponent?
I think our first one we go at Seattle, which is going to be a tough game. It always is. We have a
Yep.
stretch. It's like
Yep.
at Seattle, at Philly, home against Seattle.
Okay,
And
so I got your next 6 weeks up here. So you got Browns,
mhm,
Vikings, Monday Night Football. That's gonna stink. And then you
mhm.
got Bengals, the bye week, Jags, Bucks, Seahawks, Eagles, Seahawks.
Yeah, I
So
mean that
that'll
Bengals
be.
game could be sneaky if Burrow is back, but
Mhm.
I'm still not
But
worried.
okay, yeah, no, yeah, the schedule
That's like
gets harder towards later in the season, but you guys are just so dominant. And honestly, probably good to drop a couple losses instead of going into the playoffs undefeated with all that pressure. It's good to lose games
you
sometimes.
just You just don't want us to take down your Dolphins record.
No, of course not. I want Larry Sonka pumping that champagne like he does every year. Larry,
Okay.
these three guys right here, undefeated. I think that's probably from the 72 season. I only know.
Yeah.
Actually, I know who that. Wait. Okay, yeah. I know all
No,
three of their names. I thought I didn't for a second.
but yeah, honestly, like if we can get through that Philly Seattle without
hmm
dropping a game, I honestly think that that's 17-0 is within our grasp. But we'll see what happens. You got to, like I
I
said
don't
earlier,
disagree.
you got